Hello Internet, my name is Zori and welcome to my first attempt at clay sculpting. Crafting? I don't know, but I'm going to try and make an Enderman with no tutorials. So this is technically my second craft with clay, my first one being this lamp, but I wasn't planning on using clay, so it's technically not clickbaiting. Anyway, I picked an Enderman because I thought it would be an easy start to the world of clay. There's something I really want to be able to sculpt in the future, and honestly, it just seems like a really fun skill to have. So to get started, I got some clay supplies from the closest craft store to me, Walmart, which means my supply was kind of limited. I was able to get this kit. Sculpey seems like what all the cool kids swear by, so that's what I got. It comes with 2 tools in this little pack, and the World of Walls didn't have any other clay tools, so I had to buy some fondant tools, which is like the edible, more annoying version of clay. I got this little set and a roller with guide rings because I feel like getting an even thickness was the biggest problem I had with angel dust. And if you're wondering why I've decided to go with no tutorials, it's because I just want to see if I can do it on my own. This is going to turn out like junk, and I definitely want to try using a tutorial next time. But first I drew a little template on this freezer paper in colored pencil, which is stupid because clay just picks it up off the paper. Luckily I just used some black clay, so you can't really see it. Now I also bought some wire just to try my hand at armature building, but it wasn't really working out for me and I was getting really frustrated, so I just gave up and tried doing it without. I picked an Enderman because I thought it was going to be easy. You just need some cubes and different lengths, but like every time I try something new, it turns into 1,000 times harder than what it needs to be. Making perfect flat surfaces seems to be impossible, but I sort of make it work. I roll out a piece of clay with my fondant rings. The thickest one, it only came with 2, which wasn't really thick at all, so I end up having to put 2 together. I also decided to put little pieces of wire connecting the body parts together so it could have a little bit more strength. I don't really know if that's how it works, but after adding some little white rectangles for the eyes, it was time to bake him for an appropriate amount of time for Sculpey, and then painting his eyes as close as I could get to Enderman purple. Now I had poked holes with the wire in his arms and leg pieces, so it was pretty easy to assemble, and here he is. And I know what you're thinking. Yes, it looks like crap, but this is the first figure I ever made, and it makes me so happy to see him. I mean, you can tell what he is, right? If any 4-year-old were to look at this, they'd know it was an Enderman. And that's the kind of validation I need right now. But I did kind of want to try and make him stand, so instead of just gluing him to something, I think I might end up making this guy a little keychain. I decide to try and make another one, which somehow turned out bigger and with way more jank. This time I actually tried to make an armature. I don't know if it's the craft wire is not the same craft wire as everybody else uses, but it just would not become straight for me. I have no idea what I was doing. I ended up giving up and just made the cubes out of foil on its own. Now, getting out my jewelry hammer was the best idea I had in this whole project because it made making the foil into cubes way easier. Now I end up covering it in painter's tape, which I did Google and it said was oven safe. And I was also going to use this board to try and make him stand up, but I was afraid it was going to catch on fire in the oven, and I looked and I didn't see anything, so I just decided to take it out. I'm not going to set my parents' oven on fire. Now I still want him to stand, so I do my best to make like the bottom of his legs as flat as possible, and you'll just have to wait to find out if that works. Now, here's where things start to go a bit crazy, and by crazy, I mean I drove an hour to the nearest Michael's and bought a whole bunch of clay stuff I don't know how to use, and most of it I don't even end up using, at least for this project, except for this cutter, which turned out to be fantastic. But after covering most of my pieces with clay, I decided to try and add some wire like I did with the little one, but this does not work out for me. Just trying to get the wire in through the tape and the foil was a pain, and I tried everything. Every time I tried to hammer them in, they would bend. I tried gluing them in, but that didn't seem to work. I did try and stick the pieces together before baking them, but I was afraid they wouldn't cure all the way, so I took them back apart. And it took me at least an hour fiddling with the stupid wire to realize I could use toothpicks. They won't bend when I hammer them into the foil, and I know they're oven safe, so I cut some in half and hammered them in. And then I started working on the eyes. Now for the little one I used white clay for the eyes and painted the pupils on. For this one I was looking at pictures on Google, and a bunch of pictures had him with like pinkish eyes, and off the top of my head I couldn't remember what exactly the color of an Enderman's eyes are, since you're not supposed to look at them. And I could have just opened the game and went into cheat mode and found out, but then I would have just played Minecraft for my entire day off. Plus, I kind of wanted to try mixing colors together to see how easy and nice they blend together. And it does. It blends really nice. I gotta give it to Sculpey on that. I think I made the pink a little too dark. It kind of should have been on the whiter end, but it looks alright. So after a nice and toasty bake, I have to do some quick painting because I ran out of black clay, and you 100% can see the difference in the color. Then of course it's time to assemble him. And if I've learned anything from this, it's that I should have just baked him together, because this ended up being a whole extra pain in the ass. Because some of the holes I poked into the clay ended up being slightly closed, so I had to Dremel them open. And you can definitely tell where I super glued him together, which is something I could paint over, but by the time I was done putting him together, I was kind of frustrated. Also, somehow I'm so bad at crafting, his one leg is shorter than his other, so he definitely does not stand. He ended up being like a beefcake version of the little one. Polymer clay is fun, but I'm definitely following a tutorial next time. But what do you think? I mean, besides that he's garbage, I think I like the little one better. He would definitely make an awesome keychain, but I'm a bit worried he might fall apart. Maybe more super glue, or maybe I could put clay on top of him. I'm not really sure how that works. But thanks to my mom for watching this entire video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.